DeMarco!
Polo!
DeMarco!
Polo!
DeMarco!
Polo!
Ah, gotcha.
Ah, you found me, didn't you? You had the money to sign me. Jerry Jones, on the other hand, well, his pockets were empty. So you got me. You got me, Mr. Chip Kelly.
What do you mean his pockets were empty? Was he making it rain at the strip club?
Oh yeah, you know how Jerry Jones does it. He goes to the strip club and he likes to make it rain with the amateur girls.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the new Eagles Murray up offense on the show. We're going to talk about LeSean McCoy's comments, his little panic comments. Apparently, he thinks it's always shady in Philadelphia. I don't understand that, but yeah, he's definitely bitter. We're going to get into these comments momentarily. But what do you think about McCoy saying that the Eagles got Murray and Ryan Matthews out of panic?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a panic move. When you're going out and you're able to acquire, the leading rusher from last season, yeah, I really wouldn't say that's a panic move. Honestly, if they would have, signed Frank Gore, then I would almost maybe agree with McCoy saying that it was a panic move. But when you're able to go out and get a guy like DeMarco Murray, um, yeah, I don't think that's a panic move.
All right, so let's dig into these comments right now. This is on the Rich Eisen show, this is his radio show that he does, and here are some things from it. Here we go. So I saw that they originally were trying to get Frank Gore, and he backed out. So when they got DeMarco and they got Ryan Matthews, I thought it was like a panic move. I can't really answer it. They took two backs to replace one. I think DeMarco's a hell of a back. I think he'll do a good job there. I'm not sure how that went. Chip, I think, is a really good coach. I think this is something different for him, kind of managing both from being a coach to now kind of managing the team as far as the players that they get and they pay. So that's what McCoy said. Clearly, he's still bitter about the trade, and can you really blame the guy? He goes from, a perennial playoff contender every single season to a team that hasn't made the postseason since 1999.
And he has to, deal with EJ Manuel or Matt Castle as his quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not good at all.
No. And there's a bunch of snow in Buffalo, and they are run by the foot fetish man now. So there's a lot of things going on that's making McCoy, a bit grumpy.
And his offensive line sucks. It's like one top five worst in the league. It's not good.
Yeah, so that's going to be another interesting factor there. He had a pretty decent offensive line here in Philadelphia, but now he's going to, not have uh, fortune there in Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's move on here. Obviously, in my opinion, McCoy is the best running back in the league, but his style of running didn't really fit what Chip wanted in his offense. That was very evident. Even today, during Jeff Lurie's press conference, he said that Chip prefers that one-cut style of back, and McCoy didn't really fit that mold all the time. With Chip Kelly's offense, the first play of every drive is the most important because that's kind of what sets the tone and the rhythm for the entire possession. So you have a first down play, you want to get about 4 or 5 yards because getting that first down is paramount, really. And there were a lot of instances last year, where McCoy, first down and 10, he's trying to do too much and running into a line for a no gain, or he's losing a couple yards. You can't have that in this offense, and that's clearly what rubbed Chip the wrong way, and that's basically what led to his departure.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that makes McCoy so great is that he's able to, make it wiggle and make guys miss and, create space for himself. But, at the same time, sometimes it comes back to bite him in the ass because he'll try to make guys miss, and he'll end up losing 5 or 10 yards. A great example of that is you know the game against the Rams last year. McCoy decided to dance a little bit too much in the backfield. He lost control of the football, and Chip Kelly, he doesn't like that kind of stuff. He likes a guy that's gonna hit the hole hard and really be a power type of running back, a north-south type of guy. Like you said, one-cut runner, and that's really what DeMarco Murray is. So I think that the opportunity came along for Chip Kelly to get DeMarco Murray. I don't obviously DeMarco Murray was not the first option here. They thought they were getting Frank Gore, but that didn't work out. Then Ryan Matthews came in the picture, but the DeMarco Murray thing kind of just unfolded, and Chip took advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, Murray fell into the Eagles' lap because clearly Chip didn't originally think that he would have enough money to get him, but Murray took a pay cut to come here. He'd rather come here than go to Oakland or Jacksonville. So he wanted to win a Super Bowl. That's what he said at his press conference. And I was afraid a little bit when we initially signed him. Like, oh God, I hope they don't give him like $9-10 million a season. But he didn't get that. So signing him, we didn't pay that crazy amount of money to get him. What was it? 5 years, $42 million, like pretty much $8 million, just a little bit over $8 million a season. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, and the one thing that you can pretty much guarantee with Murray is he's not gonna have uh, any run-ins on Twitter with baby mama drama, or he's not gonna be having any problems as far as tips go at a restaurant. This kind of surprised me a little bit because obviously, not being in Dallas, we don't get to watch, the Dallas players have their post-game press conferences after every game. So I was kind of surprised the type of, guy that DeMarco Murray is. He really it really made a lot of sense why Chip Kelly signed him after I watched his press conference because he's really the prototypical Chip Kelly guy. I mean, he's all about the team and he's all about winning a Super Bowl. And we all know that McCoy has had his share of off the field issues, but Murray doesn't seem like that type of guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. And this is where we're going to talk about a little bit of this because I hope what I'm about to say isn't going to rub people the wrong way because I think Murray is overrated, but I don't want you guys to take that out of context. All right. Clearly, Murray benefited last year from a great offensive line. Led the NFL in rushing. It was his second consecutive 1,000-yard season. But health concerns is a problem. It was only the second time he's gone over 1,000 yards. So we'll see what happens. Now, with that being said, I still think he's like a fringe top 5 guy. I don't think he's like top 3, top 2. I don't think he's any of that. I'm still taking Jamal Charles over him. I'm still taking LeSean McCoy over him. I'm still taking Marshawn Lynch over him. I'm taking he and Arian Foster are like the same playing field because they both get hurt. And who else did I say earlier? I like Eddie Lacy over him. I love Eddie Lacy though, so you guys might disagree with that. So I'm taking like all those guys over him. But it doesn't mean Murray's not a bad running back. But I think people are blowing this a little bit out of context. He's not like great or anything. He's very, very good. But is he elite? Yeah, he's really good. Really good. He fits this offense.
Yeah, and that's the main thing there. He fit the offense and he fits what Chip wants to do. All the things that we just mentioned. Murray's the type of guy. He's gonna hit the hole fast. And like you were saying, first down is critical in this Eagles offense. And Murray's, not going to be losing 5 yards on first down. He's going to, either get stopped at the line or get you 2 or 3 yards. And that's really what, Chip Kelly wants out of his running back. And the Eagles don't need Murray to come in here and put up the 1,800 yards that he did last year with the Cowboys. With the Matthews signing, and you also have Sproles. Um, I mean, they really have a three-headed backfield here that is just highlighted by DeMarco Murray, and obviously they needed to shell out the money to Murray to get him here.
All right, so you trade LeSean McCoy, you get Ryan Matthews and DeMarco Murray. Are they better at running back now than they were last year?
I mean, I would say they are because I think that really it's really, I mean, I would say Murray and McCoy, I mean, they're pretty even there, but I think that the Ryan Matthews signing is kind of going to it's going to go under the radar here, but I think that in the end it could prove to be a really good signing because Ryan Matthews, he's a very athletic guy and he's got a ton of potential and he showed it with the Chargers, but injuries have kind of hindered his career a little bit, especially last season. So I think that this is actually, it's a pretty good fit for, Matthews because he gets to come in. He doesn't have to be the main guy, but he's going to be able to display his abilities here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think they've gotten better at running back, and I love this Matthews signing as being a backup. Now, if he was the lead back, I'd be concerned, but because he's the second fiddle, because he's behind Murray, and I love this signing. He's got good build, he's got balance, vision, hits the hole hard. This is what Chip wants in a guy, so that's what he is. Yeah, so they've got two really, really good backs now. They're both injury prone, but you know what? The chances of both of them being down at the same time are kind of slim. So you're always going to have one of those two guys out there.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And the Eagles also have Chris Polk is kind of the unforgotten man at this point because with the three-headed monster, he's a fourth guy. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. I would imagine that his production is going to probably stay about the same. He's probably mostly going to be used just on special teams this year because they have so many options in the backfield now. But yeah, they're definitely they've got a lot more options this year at the running back position, and it's really going to be interesting to see what happens with DeMarco Murray here because you know these past two seasons he's went over 1,000 yards, but before that, he really didn't reach anywhere near 1,000 yards. So it's really going to be a big season for DeMarco to see if he's going to be that consistent 1,000 yard running back.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this pre-show. Pro Football Weekly, now it's called, I forget what it's called now, Pro Football Focus or something. I love this magazine each season. This is from 2013. This is before Murray had a 1,000-yard season. He wasn't even ranked in the top 25. So it's crazy, like the difference a year makes, and where you go, how high you go up the rankings. So, from that perspective, you just made that point perfectly. Going back to Polk, with them signing Murray and them signing Matthews, I think everyone just assumed that Polk was going to go out the door. But with their injury concerns, and Chip likes having multiple backs on his team, I don't think he's necessarily going to be out of the picture. I don't think he's gone. I think he's staying here because you have Sproles. Sproles isn't necessarily a runner. He's more of a pass catching threat. So I don't see why it would be a bad thing to not keep Polk.
Yeah, and you talking about that with Polk kind of makes me think about this and with Sproles. I think that you're actually going to see Sproles used a lot more as a receiver this year. Obviously, you're going to see DeMarco Murray and Matthews getting the bulk of the carries, but I think when when you have the ability to have two running backs like DeMarco and Matthews, that's going to allow Chip Kelly to put Sproles um, out there more often because they're going to use a lot of two back sets. So they're going to have the ability to have Sproles out more as a receiver.
Yeah, a little bit more misdirection stuff, stuff like that. A lot more disguising.
Yeah, and I really think that obviously with Macklin not coming back, deciding to sign with the Chiefs, I think you're really going to see a heavy focus on the running game this year, especially if Bradford is the quarterback. Um, with his history with injuries, it's definitely going to be heavily focused on the running game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do think they're going to address receiver in the draft. Obviously you got a first round pick, and yeah, so we'll just stray away from the Mariota talk on this on this show, but yeah, because I've discussed this plenty, too much actually. So, but yeah, like they got the first round pick, they got the second round pick, and this is a very very deep wide receiver class. So we'll see what they do. The guys that I like, Devontae Parker, and I love Nelson Aguilar. I don't know when Nelson Aguilar is going to go. I don't know if he's going to go second round or not, but I love him. He's a possession guy. He catches the ball. Great hands. I mean, I want him.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys are, definitely the guys that are being talked about right now, and they would really be, great options for the Eagles. So we'll do it. We'll see what they do as far as that goes. But obviously, they have decided that they are going to take the draft route for getting a wide receiver, and then, don't be surprised if they go out and get a young running back in the draft.
Hmm. Yeah, and there are still some veteran receivers out there. Still got, we were going through the free agent list yesterday, and Hakeem Nicks was the guy that, kind of, we're like, yeah, we could see them taking him. Injury history.
Yeah, any guy with an injury is definitely capable of being signed by Chip Kelly. But yeah, it's really slim pickings right now. There's not many guys out there on the market at the wide receiver position. So yeah, they're going the draft route to try to fill the void left by Macklin.
Yeah. All right. Going back to this running back situation. But we're not talking running backs right now. We're going to go talk about the offensive line. I don't know if you saw this report yesterday, but Evan Mathis might be getting cut if the Eagles can't find a trade partner. This to me is like baffling. Okay, so you want to cut Mathis, but you're going to keep a 31-year-old linebacker who just had a torn Achilles last year, a backup linebacker. What the fuck?
Yeah, this is a bit confusing. I'm kind of with you on this one. It's definitely a head scratcher. Yeah, not really sure. I mean, if they get rid of Mathis, I mean, it's definitely saves cap room. But at the same time, if they get rid of Mathis, you have to replace two offensive linemen now. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear that. I mean, and the thing is, these other teams now, why in the world would they trade, for Mathis when they know that the Eagles are just going to release him? So the Eagles' plan there kind of a bit confusing because it really doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all. I mean, I'm for drafting some guys in the draft, some guards. I mean, I understand Mathis is getting up there in age, but he's still a top five guard in the NFL. He's still up there, man. I mean, what's he now, 32, 33?
Yeah, he's around there. Yeah, 31. Yeah, somewhere in that age range. The thing that's concerning to me is that if they get rid of Mathis, yeah, I mean they can draft guys, but they better be able to step in right away because yeah, you can. I mean, you can get away with getting rid of Hairmans and filling his spot, but trying to fill two spots on that offensive line, it's tough to do.
Yeah, it just makes no sense to me why you wouldn't want to. keep Mathis for another year and develop that guard that those, they're obviously probably going to draft more than one guy in the draft. So, keep a couple guards, develop them, keep Mathis. I'm not understanding this route. So what now? So maybe you sign a couple free agents and you draft a guy and you plug him in right away. That doesn't make any sense to me. Just keep Mathis for another year. You're only going to save. All right, so he gets $6.5 million, and it would only save $4.5 million in the cap if they release him because there's like a clause in the contract about I think it's like $2 million if they cut him. They would have to pay against the cap or something. So they would only save $4.5 million. That doesn't make what? Why would they do that?
Obviously, Chip Kelly is not a fan of Mr. Mathis.
Oh man. All right. What else?
Maybe, maybe something happened, and they found that Mathis was messing with the ducks in the duck pond there at the NovaCare complex.
Not feeding the ducks proper nutrients, giving them
Yeah,
slivers of
you
bacon.
have, yeah, you have to be careful. Chip Kelly is very overbearing with his duck pond. Frank Gore was not a fan of that. Chip Kelly was too overbearing. He brought Frank Gore the tears, and then you know Frank Gore decided that the duck pond was not for him, and he decided to go to the Colts and get lucky.
I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot about those comments already. Those are the most ridiculous comments some of the most ridiculous comments I've ever heard, considering he had the most overbearing coach in the NFL last season in Jim Harbaugh. So I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Yeah, talk about an excuse just to go to the Colts and not come to Philly. Yeah, that was like one of those excuses, like when you're in school and you say that your dog ate your homework.
Yeah, seriously. Oh man, I think clearly Gore probably thought the Colts were more of a contender to win a Super Bowl than the Eagles were. I mean, you got Andrew Luck as your quarterback. They just came off the AFC Championship. They were missing a running back. They really needed a guy. So I think that's the reason why. It's not because he's overbearing. I don't know why he said that. I mean, Frank isn't exactly the smartest tool in the shed. So, you know, there you go with that.
Yeah, well, we should really be sending Frank Gore a thank you note because him not coming here actually set this whole thing into motion with us getting DeMarco Murray. Because if Gore came here, there's no way we were going to be signing DeMarco. So, yeah, I guess we should thank Frank Gore. Um, I mean, when it was being first reported, uh, I mean, it was like one of those signings. Like, let's say, I mean, all right, Frank Gore. I mean, he's old. He still gets 1,000 yards, but it wasn't a signing that you could like really get excited about. I think DeMarco Murray people can get a little bit more excited about than Frank Gore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't high on the Frank Gore signing at all. I didn't like it. I mean, 32-year-old running back, no, not happening. So I wasn't liking it at all. So that's just me. All right. So yeah. So I think we pretty much talked about everything we wanted to talk about in this show. Um, unless you got something else to say.
No, I mean I think we did a nice job talking about the running backs. We have a lot of guys to talk about now because we're really stockpiled at the position.
Yeah, right. I did like our game at DeMarco Polo earlier. That was fun. We got to do that again.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played some Marco Polo as they call it. In the pool when you're younger, you used to play that game, and I kind of forgot how disappointing the ending is. I mean, you kind of just catch the person and say you're it, and then just keep playing the game, I guess.
DeMarco.
Polo.
All right. So, all right. Final thoughts time. It's up to you, Mike. How do you want to end this show?
Well, McCoy is gonna have to deal with Buffalo. hopefully he gets a lot of snow and he doesn't have to open up his mouth anymore because he's starting to turn into McNabb. Just going to Buffalo now. All he wants to do is talk and talk and talk about Philadelphia. So I think that he should just you know worry about Buffalo and worry about Rex Ryan. He can be pals with Rex Ryan and they can go out and get drunk and leave a 2 cent tip in Buffalo.
There you go. There you go. And no one will even report about it because they're fucking in Buffalo.
Exactly.
No one will care. At least he does have those buffalo wings now. Fucking Yumskis.
Oh, they'll be getting a lot of them.
All right. Well, that being said, that's Mike Owens. I'm Adrian Fedq. We're out of here. Tune in next week. We'll have another show for you. Later. Go Birds.
Go Birds.